Hi, in this video, we'll be looking at relational operators and how Python makes decision. And we could start off with looking at how we human beings make decisions. And let's start from here. Whenever we're asking questions, we say, "Do you eat rice?" We answer either yes or no. Or "Do you eat roaches?" We answer yes or no. But Python by itself does not have the capability to take decisions by itself. And that is where the programmer comes in, and it helps the language to make decision through whatever thing the programmer has imputed or had code into the program. All right. So there are some few things that we need to mention when Python is making a decision. The very first one is the comparison or conditions that must be met. Now, for any condition to be met, Python usually does comparisons to check if a condition is met or not. That is how Python gets to know that, oh, when you get to this point, turn left. So Python does not take decision on it by itself, but it checks for some conditions. And how do we get this condition is by using relational operators. And on your screen now, on what you can see now, these are the list of operators or comparison operators that we have. We have less than or equal to, we have greater than or equal to, we have double equal to, and we have this not equal to, which is this exclamation mark and the equal sign. All right, so very quickly, we just mention what we have seen here. So if you notice, before now we've been seeing where we have double, just a single equal to sign. Now here it means that you are trying to assign a variable, a value inside a variable. But now whenever you see double equal to, it means you are trying to ask a question. You are trying to compare something with something. And in this case, you are trying to ask a question that is something exactly equal to this other thing. For this example, we have we are trying to ask a question that is A equal to B? Just like, is 5 equals to 4? So our answer is always a true or false for every of the comparison. Remember again, whenever we are trying to create a condition, we use comparison or relational operators to check, and we always aim at getting just two unique answers, which are boolean, either true or false. We either get a true or we get a false. And now please take note of this true or false, because that is exactly what Python is interested in to make any decision. I repeat, that is what Python is interested in before making any decision. Python checks if something is true or if it is false. So whenever it is true, you pass some set of instructions that, okay, when it is true, take this instruction, turn left. But when it is false, turn right. Then Python goes through all those steps and those instructions that you've passed and treat whatever thing you're trying to do. All right, so very quickly, we'll just see one of the conditions, and one of the one of how Python makes decision is by using this if statement. This if keyword is the condition, is a kind of condition that asks a question that is something true or not. If it is true, do this instruction. But if it is not true, do not do these instructions. All right, so we'll just have, let us see how to write an if statement. Please remember, in our material, I'll be putting it in the description below. You can download from there. And these are the instructions to follow when writing an if statement, where we have the if itself, the if keyword, we have the condition. The condition is the whole of this. All right, let us write it out while we explain. So let us assume that we have somebody whose age, let us say we have, okay, let's call it age just to explain. We have somebody who is 17 years of age, and we are now trying to check a condition that if this person, if his age is less than or is exactly equal to 23 years of age, then we should give him a capricon. So we can say print Okay, let's just say you get a Capri Sun. All right. So this is the very basic form of using an if statement. Remember when we said this is a condition. Now this is how to write an if statement. We start off with the if keyword, and after the if keyword we have the condition, which is the whole of this. And remember we've talked about condition where we have the comparison in between here, as you can see. So whenever you have a comparison in between two different things, that is a condition. You are trying to check for something. Is something compared to something? What is this compared to that? For in this case, we are comparing age, the variable age. We are comparing it with 23. And what is the comparison? We are checking if age is less than or equal to 23. And remember what I said, what the aim of condition is always to return just two value, either true or false. We are to return either true or false. All right. So in this case here, the condition is age. Remember, all conditions are asking. They are all asking the question: is age less than or equal to 23? But in this case, our age is 17. So therefore, we can also say that we have 17. We're asking a question that is 17 less than or equal to 23, which is true. 17 is less than 23. Exactly, which is true. So if this statement or if this condition here is true, then do this instruction down here. That is the syntax for writing an if statement, which is the very basic form of if statement. We'll be seeing other forms very quickly. So what this does is, once this condition here is true, it does the instructions here. Please notice this indentation. I've mentioned that in the material. So when you see it, the indentation, which is a tab, usually four spaces, four keyboard spaces. You could count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is an indentation before you give your instruction. Remember, and also to mention, we can have more than one instruction, such as you can say that, oh, I want to increase the value of my age to add 2 years to his age. So plus 2. Then now I want to print the new age. And I can say new age equals age. You see, I have more than one instruction, but then please note that everything has been indented. Even if I'm putting a space or more than one space is in between, it doesn't destroy the grouping in as much as it is indented. But once I have something outside that indentation, it is no more part of this if statement here. So let us just run this code and let's see what happens. Then we'll explain better. Okay. I need to change my directory. All right. What's the name of our code? Python main. Okay. All right. So after I run this code, if you see, I want you to guess already while I explain also. We see that it's we got three outputs here. You get a Capri zone, and this is the reason why we got a Capri zone, because the age here is 17, and the condition that we are checking it with is 17 less than 23? Yes. Then I get a Capri zone. It prints that. Now, because this next instruction is still indented, it adds 2 to the value of age. Now, age is now 19. Before now it was 17, so 17 plus 2, that is 19. So our new age is equals to age, which will be 19. So we have new age equals to 19. Then it comes outside of this if statement to print this I am alone. Now let us see if this last I am alone is together or it's really alone. Let us increase this age so that our value here is false. And I need to mention this at this point, that once the value or once your output or your result here is false, Python would not treat anything under here. It will just exit for this basic form. So for an instance, let us say 32. Obviously 32 is greater than 23, so this condition should be false. So is 32 less than or equal to 23? No, 22 is greater than 23. That means 32 is greater than 23. So that means it is false. We have a false here. Nothing will be done here. So let us run this code again. You see, it's printing just I am alone. And the reason why it's printing I'm alone is because this condition here is false. And once the condition is false, it doesn't do any instruction inside here. That all of these things that had been indented, it doesn't, because the condition is false. So we are not going to do this. So you can also see an if statement as saying that if something is this, then do this. If it is not, don't do it. So if something is true, then do this. If it is false, don't do it. So I want to quickly point out this. Let us make it kind of interesting. Do you think this would work if I had typed if true like this and run it? Will it work? All right. Yes, it would. And this is the reason, because I mentioned earlier that this is a condition, and the condition always returns either one of these two Boolean values. It returns either a true or a false. So remember, when it returns, if this value here is true, for instance, this is a false. So what Python changes this to is false. Then if false, you see that it has been grayed out, meaning that it will not execute anything inside there because it is false. But then because I'm saying true now, you see, automatically it brings it back up that, oh great, I'm going to execute this because it is true. All right. So let us move forward. So this is the very first basic kind or type of if. So let us see another kind of if. We have the if else. Now this if else is very simple. It's just like if, but this time we are now saying that let me remove these extra baggages. That one was just trying to show that we can run more than one instructions. Yes, we can run more than one instructions. All right, so if else, we have our age less than or equal to 23. All right, so let us see the second form of if else. We have if else. Now the way if else work is the if statement as we've seen before, but now we're having another keyword called else followed by a colon. Please note here there is no condition for else, just a colon. What this does is it means that if this first part here, if your condition here is false, then because it's false, we are not doing this. Then come and do everything under this else. So let us say if the age is greater than, the age is not less than or equal to 23, then just give them money. Give them money. All right. With an exclamation. Okay, so let us explain this again. Remember, we said if this is false, don't do this. Then come here to do whatever thing is here. If this is false. But now, if this is true, you get to do all the instructions here, but you won't do anything in else because our condition is true. So let me take that again. If your condition here is true, you take the immediate instructions here. But if it is false, you skip all of the instructions here, then come into the else part. That is how if else work. If else simply means, when we're testing with if, we said if it is true, do this. But then when it is false, it doesn't do anything. Instead, it comes out to print I'm alone. But in this case, we want to check for two things. If it is true, do this. Then if it is false, don't do this, come into the else, then do whatever thing, all the instructions inside else, then continue with your Python, with your code, with the other part of the code, which is I am alone. So let us test this with our 17. Let's assume the age is 17. Yeah, you see, you get a Capri zone and I'm alone. So the reason why we are getting a Capri zone is because the age is less than or equal to 23. 17 is less than 23, so you get a Capri zone. Now, once you get a Capri zone, you are not getting any money. So it exits the whole of these statements. Once it is true and it has done all the instructions here, it does not do anything inside else. Then it comes outside of the condition. Now let us see where the case will be false here, because 32 is not less than or equal to 23. So this will give us a false here. So what this does is this. You see, we see it gives us money. It says give them money, then I'm alone. Why? Because 32 is not less than or equal to 23. 32 is greater than 23. So it does not do this. So our answer, our value here is going to be a false. So meaning if we get a false here, this is not done. You see, it's grayed it out immediately. Then this one is still alive. Meaning that it should just do this and ignore everything here, because you should only do this if this is true. So you see, if this is true, see what happens here. In the else part, it's become gray. It's grayed out. Then this is what is available to run, because once it's true, you do this, then you don't do anything here. But once your condition is false, then you don't do this, but you do what is inside else. You get? All right. So let us move to another one part. Now let's assume that we have age children, we have age adults, and we have age grandpa. So let us see how to treat that. Now, where we have cases like, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I want to check for several conditions. We have 7 days in a week. Now, I want to check for a condition. If today is Monday, wear clothes Monday. If today is Tuesday, wear clothes Tuesday. If today is Sunday, wear clothes Sunday. You see, we have so many conditions now. We are looking at if today is Sunday. If today is Sunday, that means if today is Sunday, if it is true, then wear a Sunday kind of attire. If not, go to the next condition and check. How do we implement that in Python? That is where we come to see something we called elif. Now, elif is just like if and else statement together, meaning that if this first condition fails, if it is false, come to this one, come to this next one. Then if is a keyword that takes a condition. So if, then we give it another condition. Now, if age is less than or equal to, let's say 50 years of age, and what should we give them? Okay, let us give these people money, but these other guys, let us give them retirement. All right, they should retire and enjoy the money they've gotten. So what this simply means, or what it will do, is it checks for the first condition. If this age 17, if 17 is less than or equals to 23, if it is true, if this first if statement is true, it does this condition. But then if it is false, it comes to the next part, which is elif. Checks this condition again, this next condition. If this second condition is true, then it does this. But if this next condition is false, it skips to the next part. And please note, we can have more than one elif. Something like this, we can have more than one elif. So, but then the condition is just basically what we keep changing. So it checks for this condition. If this condition is true, it does this. If this condition is false, it goes to the next one and checks again this next condition. If this condition is true, does this. If it is not, it goes to the next one, which is now a final S. Then it does this. So before it can come to this else, it would have mean that it has checked through each and every if condition that we have here. And note, once it has done one of these conditions, it will not do any of them again. Let's say for this case where the age is 17. You see, when the age was 17, which is less than 23, it does only Caprizone. Then immediately it has done Caprizone, it exceeds this condition, this if condition. It won't do any of this other condition anymore. Meaning that if today was Monday, it will not even assume that today is Tuesday anymore. Since today is Monday, it does all the instructions for Monday, then it exits the condition and continue with the other part of the code. All right. So let us see a quick, let's say, a quick sample or something we can try. Yeah. So we are asked to write a program that uses a conditional statement, and it takes a string as an input. Okay, we know we are getting an input here, and now it says that we should print the sentence, yes, dote de leche is an interesting sugar and milk. Oh, this is awesome. Dote de leche is when you mix sugar and milk together and you eat it for a very long time, then it turns to a paste kind of thing, caramel sort of thing. Yeah, that's dulce de leche. Yeah, it's sometimes called dulce. Yeah, you can call dulce or dulce. All right. So, but then that is if you impute this, you note this: the D is in capital uppercase, dulce de leche. If you impute dulce with the D lowercase, then it should print no. I want a big jar of dulce de leche. But then it should print dulce de leche if you impute something else. So this is our test data. All right, let us go ahead. You have this material already. You can check through. Let us write code. All right, let us say we have an order. We want to save our input inside something called the order because we'll be asking for the order. What do you want? All right, so inputs, we are anything that goes inside the inputs, like I've said in our previous video, is a string by default. So let us say your order, please. All right. So at this point, we're expecting something from the keyboard. Now let us write our condition. If order is exactly equal to, now you see we are using double equal to, which is going to form our comparison for this condition. Now if our order is exactly equal to dulce de leche, all right, then remember our column, then indentation, Visual Studio indent for me by default, but if it doesn't, I type 1 2 3 4 4 empty spaces, then I print what we have been asked to print, which is yes, dulce de leche is an interesting sugar and the milk. Okay. All right. So, but then they said if we input this the one with a small or a lowercase, so we should get something else. So this is where we can use elif because we are trying to check for another condition this time around. So we say equal to, and let's say small letter d this time. Uh, then want to print no. I want a big jar of the dulce de leche. Thank you. So now they said if we impute any other thing apart from these first two conditions that we check, um just print this, not whatever thing you have, and not whatever thing you have imputed, which is saved in order already. So let us order. Alright, so this should work. Let us run our code. We have our test data. So we try the dulce de leche, the one with the small letter, and let's see what happens. Dulce de leche. Yeah, you see, it says no. I want a big jar of dulce de leche. And why is that happening? Because it checks this condition. It is a false. We got a false, so it won't do anything here. It will come here, check this condition. Yes, it is the same, so it prints this out. So let us try with the next sample. They say we should put in butter. So if you put in butter, we expect to see what's that? We expect to see dulce de leche, not butter. Okay. Yeah, so we got that dulce de leche, not butter. Then if you use capital letter D, we should get yes, dulce de leche is an interesting sugar and milk color. All right, so that is where we'll be stopping. We have some interesting labs that I think will keep you busy for the week, I guess. You see how we have these conditions. Just go through the lab, and if you have any question, please reach me on the comment section or other means. And yes, there are two. Oh, interesting. A leap year. Yeah, just go through the scenarios and we have our skeleton code. And yes, in the next class, in the next video, we'll be talking about loops. Peace out.